Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. We're extremely excited about today. We'll go ahead and kick off in about 2 minutes.
Hey Colin, if you can hear me, I just want to do a quick test. We're not getting any feedback or anything from our end on the speakers, are we? The microphone?
Not too much feedback. It is a little tough to hear.
Okay, that's just because I'm farther away from the mic, so.
Why don't we do a test? Go.
Yeah, test.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Tyler, we can hear you perfectly.
Thank you, Colin.
Perfect.
All right, it is 12 o'clock, so let's go ahead and kick off. Thanks everyone for joining the webinar. We're extremely excited. I'll just provide a brief introduction and then we can go ahead and get into it. So a little bit of background on these webinars. Tyler decided to do these because of the shelter in place currently in effect. With everyone currently at home, he thought it'd be a great time to share information about a lot of the assistive technology products that have really changed his life. We're very lucky to have groups like RAM willing to pass along information and provide a direct line to RAM in a forum where normally that may not be as easy to get. We'll be doing a Q&A session at the end, so feel free to ask any questions in the chat box throughout the presentation. Before we introduce the panelists, I do want to have an exciting announcement. We are going to give away to a randomly selected person in the audience a free RAM mount solution. So if you see the hand raise function within your window, please raise your hand, and then before we do the Q&A, we'll randomly select someone. So with that said, we can go ahead and introduce the panelists. Today we have Tyler Schrenk, president of the Tyler Schrenk Foundation, and Rick Phillips with RAM Accessible Amounts. So with that said, thank you everyone for letting me provide an introduction. We can hand it right over to Tyler.
All right. Thank you all for being here. Really excited to do these. As Colin mentioned, technology has been a huge part of my life. Our last webinar, we kind of went through this quick. So I just thought I'd touch on it. You know, for years, all I did is sit around and watch TV. And technology is kind of what changed that for me, when I realized I could do things independently. And so when we talk about technology, I don't think the first thing that comes to mind, or at least the first thing that doesn't come to my mind, is mounting. But to use any of these things, they definitely need to be in the right spot. So imagine having a cell phone that's you can't see. That's not going to help you. Or if you're using a button to play a video game, if you can't access it, you can't use it. So mounting actually plays a huge part into assistive technology and us using it. So I'm very excited to have Rick Phillips here with me today, and he's going to run through some of the parts and let you know all about RAM mounts. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for hosting this webinar and having me here today. So we have a lot of information that we're going to be covering. So if I breeze over something quickly, we can come back to it and address. But to Tyler's point, we make many different types of vehicles and applications with very heavy-duty materials. And that's why it's important that our solutions work so well for wheelchairs, is that you want to be able to support tablets, phones, buttons, and switches, and you want to make sure that they remain in place. All of our mounting components are backed with a lifetime warranty. So many people may not be familiar with what RAM mounts are or how they work, and so we'll just give a quick little introduction. Essentially, we make up modular and rugged mounting applications that can connect virtually any device to any type of vehicle or application. They're made up of modular components, such as ball and socket components here. In this example, we have a suction cup with a double socket arm, and you can connect, say, for instance, a phone holder. So with this build, we have a double ball suction cup mount for your phone. This is for an iPhone 11. Or if you're not using a suction cup, you can mount to, say, a rail surface, such as this rail here.
And a rail service or surface would be applicable for like under an wheelchair, or like the seat, or explain that the seat of it?
Yeah, so depending, some wheelchair models will have rails or bars available if there aren't tracks.
Got it. Okay.
The two most common mounting points are track systems or rail systems for wheelchairs.
Yeah,
and we'll expand on those.
Okay, great.
Interchangeable components. This is a medium length double socket arm. You can also interchange this with a short socket arm or a long one as well, so you can get the right extension that you're looking for. You can even join two double socket arms together with this double ball adapter. So if you really want that extra articulation and extension, you can achieve that. Another example here, say instead of mounting a phone, you might be mounting a camera. So you can take the exact same components. You can swap your phone out for the camera system. So we have a GoPro adapter here.
Do you think that suction cup would stick to my forehead next time I go skydiving?
It has to be non-porous.
Okay.
And then another example, this is a toolless install of a rail system that we call a tough claw. So you can clamp this to any rail or any table edge. So in this example, we have a medium arm, and this is our self-leveling cup holder. As you can see, you can adjust the height on our cup holder to extend out to support large tumblers. So if I have this assembled, I can take this clamp and clamp it onto a table edge and tighten that down. So this would be one example here of a nice durable cup holder mount that you can clamp pretty much anywhere. And it has a nice self-leveling function, so you can mount it at any angle and it keeps your drink level. So we make applications for many different vehicles, motorcycles, cars, trucks, forklifts. We make a lot of industrial applications. But going forward here, we will focus specifically on the types of wheelchair mounts that we offer. So when it comes to mounting to a wheelchair, might be phones or tablets or buttons and switches. And so the first question to address is where on your wheelchair can you attach? The main mounting points, there is the armrest track system or the seat track system. When it comes to mounting to an armrest track, what we offer here is a ball base with a special hardware pack. The hardware in this pack T-nuts and screws and bolts to attach to all different types of wheelchair brands that we've tested. There's Invacare, Permobile, Quickie, all the different types of chair models out there that will make sure that this accommodates. A couple examples of the hardware setup here. Some tracks are a little more narrow than others. And some, if they don't have a track, they might just have a series of mounting holes, in which case we can simply adapt the screws and nuts to attach the ball underneath the armrest. So once the armrest attached, you would then connect the arm assembly. The assembly that we recommend for armrests are a medium double ball adapter and a long socket arm here. So you can imagine this attached to underneath the armrest. It would then come up and extend. So your arm would be about here, and then you can connect any phone holder. And so with the ball socket technology, you can position it at the exact angle, and then you tighten down the knob to secure it in place. So going from armrest to a seat track system, this might be better for a tablet. You want a little more stability. We have a larger ball here. We refer to it as a C size. The smaller one that we were looking at is called a B size 1-inch ball. This larger 1.5-inch ball attaches the exact same way to the seat track system of the chair. So we simply slide it into place and then use a screwdriver to tighten it down. And once that's tightened, you connect this long extension arm here. So this comes up about 12 to 14 inches total. And then you have another ball adapter up top that supports any of the tablet holders that we've shown. And we'll show all these phone and tablet holders in just a minute as well. So aside from the track and the armrest mounting, some chairs might not have seat tracks. There might just be a lot of open bars and rails. And so then you have a leg rail option, and that's the same cloth system here, except instead of going to a ball, it's going to this flexible aluminum rod. It's a very rigid rod. It stays in place once you have it in the right position. So you can flex that up to the right position and then mount your device right at the top. So getting into some of these different phone options and tablet holders, There is a variety to select, and I know we'll have a link that we'll be sharing that will show on our site. You can select your exact device, make and model, and we'll show you exactly the holders that are compatible with it. So our goal is to eliminate as much guesswork as possible. If you have an iPhone that does not have a case, we offer a variety of form-fit holders, such as this one here. Actually, this is a better example here. As you can see, the phone snaps right in place, has a nice form factor to it, keeps the camera buttons exposed. The only downside, though, is that it will not support the phone if it has a case or sleeve. If your phone has a case or sleeve, or if it's not an iPhone, we do have a few universal options. Many people know RAM mounts and are famous for the X-Grip holder, as you can see here. We have a small and a large for different sizes of phones. And then another option is what we call the RAM Quick Grip. The Quick Grip is a spring-loaded holder to support your phone, so you have a nice one-handed operation for that. Both work just as well. In terms of the X-Grip versus Quick Grip, it's really a matter of personal preference for the most part. And then another cool phone holder that we'll be launching very soon is our line of universal wireless charging holders. And these are waterproof holders. As you can see, we have these in two different styles here. We have the Quick Grip. It goes in just like that and starts charging your phone right away. Or we have the X-Grip style here. Put it in, and then the green light comes on and your phone is now charging.
Could you expand a little bit on how it actually gets power from the wheelchair?
So yes, our wireless chargers have a USB connection. So
Great.
any type of a USB connecting points, this will just charge right away.
Yep, and all of the major wheelchair manufacturers have USB adapters, so you can easily just grab power from the wheelchair and charge your phone on one of these wireless chargers.
And also, depending on the power source and device, these phones will support fast charging, up to 10 watts of power.
I have no idea what that means.
It can charge it very fast.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so getting into some of our tablet holders now. So bumping these up, we have a larger X-Grip holder, except this X-Grip has handles on the back for accommodating 7 or 8 inch tablets or iPad minis. And then you have an even larger one here that will accommodate those bigger iPads, like the 9-inch or 10-inch tablets, or this one can even support the iPad Pro. So this one has its own little arms on the back that you can pull to expand. And you can also have this in portrait mode and have these optional side supports that can support the bottom of the iPad if you have it in that position. Also for iPads, we have a variety of form-fit iPad cradles as well. This is with the patented Easy Roller system. So we're very intentional about making sure that having a nice clean form factor, we're not also scuffing the edge of the iPad. So this rolls into the iPad nice and easy. So you have a good amount of flex on there and you have a nice rigid design to it. And then the last tablet holder we'll show here is what we call our Tab Type series. This is pretty similar to the Quick Grip that we were looking at, nice little spring-loaded universal holder. The Tab Type likewise. It's just a spring-loaded holder. We offer several different cups that can alternate and accommodate different sizes of tablets with or without a case or sleeve. And you simply pop the iPad in, and it's in place just like that. And when it comes to mounting and connecting buttons and switches, another good example to look at, we have these round plate adapters here. Now, these plate adapters will go to the back of our cradles, as you can see here, this diamond-shaped plate here. And then on our larger tablet holders, we have the round plate that's shown there. These two round plates, they'll connect to any of our holders, but you can also use any kind of adhesive, dual lock Velcro, and they'll adapt onto any buttons or switches that you may have on your chair. So one example we have here, you have this diamond adapter. This has some dual lock Velcro with a small little switch. So you simply lock those two together and you have your mounting point for your switch. And so you can use this with any of the interchangeable components. So you can put the button or switch anywhere on the chair that you need to have it.
And this is exactly what we used for our gaming webinar last Saturday when I failed miserably at a golf game.
And so, yes, in fact, we will show those in just a minute. One other thing I didn't have room on the table here is the mounting options that we have for the adaptive controller. So this was not in the previous webinar, but the adaptive controller, we do offer a ball with the proper hardware so you can mount this ball directly to the back of the adaptive controller. And this makes it work with our components so you can essentially mount this anywhere that our mounts allow you to.
On a wheelchair, a table, anywhere that is working good for gaming.
And you'll see, and I believe Microsoft even offers these particular kits here. But as you can see, you can connect this with the track base, so you can connect this to the armrest track, and you have multiple articulation points, so you can put this at just the right position for you. And then likewise, it's the same size ball that you can connect. Sorry, I'm fumbling around here.
How dare you?
So you can use that larger ball at the bottom for the ski track with the extension arm that comes up, and then you can have your adaptive controller right there.
And as Rick mentioned, on that Microsoft website, where you purchase the adaptive controller, there are the components you need to mount it from RAM mounts on that.
Right. So that's all I have here. So if you like, we can show some of the setups that we have on your chair specifically.
Let's do it.
And this it can be what our mounts can truly do. So that's why it's great having Tyler volunteer in his chair to help set up, to give us a good idea of how the mount will truly work on a given setup.
Great.
So I'll pull these over. So one option we were looking at when it comes to armrest mounts, we were looking at the base with a medium arm, double extension arm, and then a long arm here. And then you position your holder at the end of this. So that's on his right armrest here. So this is adapted onto his track system. Everything is tightened down, nice and secure, and it's thrown perfectly in place.
With X grip.
Yes, that's the X grip. That's the smaller phone holder for accommodating his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing we were playing with a little bit earlier is that the fact that these are interchangeable, if you want something else, swap out his components here. So we can even take his phone holder away, and we can take this cup holder that we were looking at before, put this in just the right position. And let's see, we can give you a nice extension. So yeah, everything should be in place. You should be able to take it.
Mm.
And then on the other side here, we have the tablet mount. So I won't grab it, but this was the extension arm that we were looking at before. So this is down on the track system of his wheelchair. And so this is coming up with the proper extension. And then he has that ball adapter that downgrades to that smaller ball. And that's our large X grip that's accommodating his iPad right there. And these are the exact same mounts that we had in the previous webinar showing the Xbox system. So you have multiple little ball adapters. These are actually components that Tyler had pieced together himself, just looking at all the various components on our site. And so that was on his left side, and then on the rear head button, you have our Tough Claw. This is a great feature with the Tough Claw, is the fact that this is going on a kind of an odd shaped post that's supporting his headrest. We say it's for handlebars and round rails, but it can really clamp to anything odd shaped like this. Simply tighten down the knob, and it's in a perfect position. So he was using that yesterday, it worked out really well. And then he has a couple of extension arms doing that. And then there's one more he's using on this side, the leg rail system that we were showing a few minutes ago. This is clamped down to an odd shaped rail. And then that's supporting the other buttons on there. So that was pretty much all that we had. I don't know, any questions that you might have? Is there anything I might be missing, Todd?
Yeah, let's say, I was an occupational or physical therapist, and I wanted to either set up my patient with a phone or a button or anything. Where would be a good place for someone like that to start?
It's a good question. A couple places to start, depending on what the user might be familiar with. We try to eliminate as much guesswork as possible. A couple big resources, and we'll provide links to these. There's a mount builder on our website where you can select your device, make and model. You can select where you're mounting, so you can select the wheelchair. We'll give you the options in terms of if you're looking to mount to a wheelchair track system, a leg rail option. So you can truly build out your solution by going that route. If you're still not quite sure if it's the proper track system, our accessibility catalog also offers specific chair make and model data. So you can look up your exact chair model. If we don't have it, please contact us and we will look it up for you. We do try to collect as much data as possible in terms of mounting compatibility. So again, we can just eliminate that guesswork for you.
Yeah, and at some point, I'm hoping to do a webinar with one of the wheelchair manufacturers, because I know for me, half the time, I have no idea what my wheelchair is called or what model it is. So I'd like to be able to provide some information, because you can look all that up.
And also, like I was saying earlier with one of your headrest mounting options, that's just simply made up of components that are on our site where we don't necessarily say it's specifically for wheelchairs or any particular application. They're really just universal mounting components. So once you kind of grasp how our mounts work, you can really build anything that you want for beyond wheelchairs for any kind of application, really.
Awesome. All right, so I think we're gonna open it up to some questions, and the mysterious Colin may join by video, not just voice. Let's see. I honestly don't know if we can make that work. Okay, way to go, Colin.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. Before we jump into Q&A, I do just want to do a quick reminder to raise your hands for a chance at a free RAM mount. Maybe give it about 10 or 15 more seconds and we can go ahead and select the lucky winner. All right. Maybe while we're giving it a bit more time, Tyler, do you want to jump into maybe one question for Q&A?
Let's do it.
All right, so we have a question from Gordon Watt. Thanks, Gordon. Do you have any mounts to support a laptop?
We do. Currently for wheelchairs, but we do offer telepole and swing arm mounting systems that go into trucks and vehicles. As far as a laptop, there are ways of doing it. I have testing on some applications. It's nothing that we've kitted out at this point. I know that our systems do tend to get a little bit pricey if you are going to be getting certain reinforcement. The problem I found with mounting laptops on a wheelchair is that you're coming up from one side relatively high and then you're coming up into the middle. So there's a lot of leverage that it's going to be supporting. Technically, there is a way to connect it, but if it's not supported with the right components, it could lean or fall over time. It's difficult because often when it comes to laptop mounting or specific devices, there are a lot of features that we have to simultaneously take into account. Sometimes we want to be able to quickly release the system. At the same time, we want it nice and rugged so it doesn't come off on its own. We have not quite achieved that with laptops on wheelchairs. Technically, there are ways to piece it together if someone really wanted to. It would just take a little work in figuring out the exact components though.
Thank you.
All right, so we go ahead and pick the lucky winner.
Let's do it.
All right. It looks like the winner of the RAM solution is Katrina Tilley. Congratulations,
All right.
Katrina.
Sounds great. Katrina, Collins will be reaching out to you in a moment so we know what you're trying to mount and we can get you the right stuff.
All right. Congratulations again, Katrina. So we'll move on to the next question in Q&A. We have a question from Barbara Erickson. Oh, excuse me. It looks more like a comment. We have a question from Werner Kleinschuster. Is there a swing away mechanism for approaching tables?
Nice to hear from you again, Werner. I think you are in Austria.
Approaching cables, I know that the mounts can be set to a certain tension level, and it depends on how the mount is positioned. Sometimes, I don't have these parts here, but there are some pipe socket systems where if it's completely vertical, you can keep it a little bit loose. so that the whole thing can swing away when you're not using it. If you don't have that kind of a system, it's not necessarily a quick swing away in the sense where you still need to loosen a knob. Like let's say if you need to move this out of the way, you can just do that. Or we do offer quick release components where it doesn't necessarily swing the system out of the way, but we have clip adapters. In fact, there's not one that, this will be the Google sheet that we share. We have quick release adapters that can go between the ball and the device. You can also put it between the ball base and the chair setup, where you can clip the entire thing away. So it's not necessarily swinging out of the way so much, but it is still a quick release system if you need to quickly get it out of the way without fumbling around with any tightening knobs.
Quick, we are hoping to do some, easy to install videos. So if you can maybe go ahead and throw your comments and the questions up there, and let us know what you might like to see in the way of that. We'd appreciate it. Go ahead, Colin.
All right. Next question here. Looks like we have a question from Gwendy Dobb. Do you have a mount that would work with the Tobii iGaze EM12?
I am not familiar with that particular device. I almost always say yes right away.
It's a yes.
Just because we offer so many different systems. So I would need to know the specs on it. If you do contact me directly, I can definitely look into it. A couple things that we look for, it would be some sort of a universal option. So we have a range of universal holders. So I would look at maybe the overall dimensions, or if the device happens to have any particular hole pattern. The universal plates that we were looking at a little bit before, these have a series of different holes that we intentionally keep industry standard. We try to make these as truly universal as possible, so these holes can adapt to most kinds of adapters out there. There are other plates beyond these as well. So if we get specs on hole patterns or dimensions, we can determine a holder that we may have for that device. I'm almost positive.
All right. Next question from Chris Schlechte. I'd like to avoid clipping to my armrests as I still get my arms up on a desk. Is there a good way to mount to a footrest or mid-seat plan between knees? Is there a non-tube clamp?
Maybe pull off that little thing in the middle of my.
Oh, the bar that's in the middle there?
Yeah.
Is that just a bar right in the center?
Yeah, and then there's also a plate, I believe you can pull off. That's right in the middle there where there's some screws.
Okay. Yeah, that could be just a universal mounting point for that. And I see another plate here with some holes. I do know that the further down that you go on the chair, the more extension you're going to need. And depending on the device that you're holding, that might end up becoming a lot of leverage where it might start to get a little bit wobbly. So the lower down you go on the chair, the more expensive your system is going to be, because it's going to require more durability. You're going to need the larger heavy duty components to support it.
I'll be sure to put you in contact with Chris. And thanks again for letting me know I said the webinar for 12 a.m. this morning. Peace.
Another option in addition to that, these can clamp onto the edges of any desks or tables. So the armrest is coming up for the sake of going up to a desk. You can always mount along the desk as well.
All right. Next question from Jennifer Brown. Went from TV to decked out technology. What was your first piece of adaptive equipment?
So for me, it was actually a Microsoft Surface tablet. As I mentioned, all I would do is sit around and watch TV. So church one day brought over a tablet. And he kind of knew I was still interested in, doing something other than watch TV. So we got a little nice Surface tablet that had Microsoft speech recognition, which worked great for me. But also we mounted it to my wall, which worked great because at the time I was living in a small little living room. But I didn't want some huge desk, some huge computer, and I maybe didn't want anything in the way of my TV watching either. But as soon as we got it mounted, it changed my world. I remember like it was yesterday. And all I did at first was just look at baseball blocks, but it was something I could do independently, and that made a world of difference.
All right. Next question from Karen Von de Heuvel. Are there any AAC vendors offering RAM mounts for their smaller devices so they can be funded by insurance?
That's a great question. To my knowledge, I honestly do not know at this time. I know that our products do technically, I don't believe we are officially certified as this, but I do know that we meet the requirements for durable medical equipment. And I do know that there have been purchases from various vendors and suppliers out there. I do not know specifically who might have any available, but they can potentially supply us.
So if you happen to be in the state of Washington, I am a vendor, and I would be able to get $550 technology benefit that all individuals with disabilities in Washington receive. So that would be one way to go about that.
All right. Next question from Michael Inglima. When will wireless mounts be available?
That's a great question. It will be most likely in the next few weeks or possibly next month. I know many internal employees have been very antsy about this, waiting tirelessly. It's potentially at any point. There are a few things that we're waiting on. I know that we're trying to dial in. One of the features I mentioned before with these wireless chargers is that they are fully waterproof and submergible in water. So as far as the proper method for making it truly waterproof, those may still be confirmed at this point, but we're looking at having them very soon.
All right. Next question from Brenda Gutierrez, or more of an ask. I'd like a video about how you control your phone, tablet, computer hands-free.
Absolutely. We'll be doing one upcoming here on voice access and switch access on the Android phone, as well as voice access and switch access on Apple. As then we'll get into computers. I think our first computer will be eye gaze. So just go ahead on YouTube and either hit like or tap your adaptive switch on the subscribe button, and the videos. You can register for more webinars. We'd love to have you.
Hey, Tyler, I think we're getting some feedback from the audience that the voice is cracking, and I'm hearing a little bit on my side as well.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. You want to kill me and I'll just speak into Rick's mic? Rick?
Yeah, it might be that the mic is getting rubbed on your shirt a little bit.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you all very much. And if that happens again, just keep throwing those in the chat.
All right. Next question from Melissa Brocht. My patients sometimes have difficulty with X-mounts rubber stoppers coming off. Any suggestions on how to prevent them from sliding off when taking the phone on and off?
So, yes, very great question. And that's actually one of the reasons why some people may even prefer a form fit holder or the spring-loaded holder, is that they're not having to worry about those caps. I don't think these holders come with instructions, but there is an instruction sheet for these. The caps, I totally know what you mean. They come right off just like that. We do offer replacement caps, and also the caps that we provide with the holders, glue stick or adhesive, where you could, or you can even source your own if there's a good quality. Super glue can do the trick, where just a small drop, tiny drop is all that you need, and then it goes right on there. Let it sit for just a little bit, and then it stays on there.
All right, I think that actually about does it for the open questions. Tyler, we can hand it back over to you. I have not yet, unfortunately, heard back from Katrina, but we'll continue to monitor the chat window, and we will reach out to you, Katrina, with next steps. But Tyler, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Great. Well, thank you all for being here again. I really appreciate it, and I'm hoping we can turn kind of a difficult situation into a positive for everyone. A little bit of housekeeping. We will be sending out a video of this, a short survey. We'd love it if you can fill it out, as well as the Google Sheet that Rick is going to provide with information on all of this. and a transcript of questions and answers. For upcoming events, this Thursday, we have accessibility. We're going to be talking about how the Google Home can provide greater independence. And a special announcement, we will be giving away a phone that can be controlled by voice or switch access. So please pass that along. Being able to operate any patients to the benefit of these controlled independently. I think that is all for today. Thank you very, very much. And all right, everyone, have a great day. Stay safe.